Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just wanna mourn and run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the new channel, here to help you see the new you. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, your host to this wonderful program, HR Hotline. Welcome back to HR Hotline. This is a day of celebration because this is the last episode of season 3. Would you believe that? That we are now on season 3, 18 episodes per season. How many is that? 8 plus 24. So we have around 44 episodes already. Am I right? Oh, no, 64. 18. I'm so poor with my arithmetic. Anyways, for this season 3, episode 18, we have a wonderful topic. One is PMAP, the People Management Association of the Philippines, had just its very successful first virtual annual conference. Thank you, Mr. Lloyd Luna, for this hand-me-down microphone set. Of course, I'm going to pay you. Now I have a, effects. Anyways, going back, I realized that yes, the association, everybody in the HR community are actually moving forward, collaborating calibrating, learning to advance HR, to be future proof, to be ready with the fourth revolution, which is actually happening now. The pandemic made it obvious. What I learned is it's the year of the CHRO, the Chief HR Officer. And that means it goes down the line. That means that HR is the lead. Anyway, in the balance scorecard, actually, people is the lead. A speaker informed us that for the past decades, due to the financial crisis, it was the CFO. But with the pandemic, wherein it is needed for us to focus on the people, it is the HR person who takes the lead. Oh, that is okay. PMAP is there. PSTD is there for the learning and development. And POPS is there for the communication. And ECOP is also there to mindset the employers. These are the associations I'm so proud that I am a member. But with our topic today, paano yung nasa laylayan? I seldom in this HR hotline live streaming speak in the dialogue. What I really mean, how about the micro, the small and medium enterprises? If you have around 10 people in your business, which I know, even the online food service, even that one of the construction, the small group, even if you're licensed or not, but that is bad. You need somebody to function or provide the HR service processes. Or you may call it before personnel administration. But we are not on it anymore. And what is this? Even the registering them into the, what do you call this? SSS. Pardon my pets. They are with me here in my studio room. Anyways, let me continue. How about the MSME? How are they going to professionalize the HR processes? I'm very sure they're actually doing it now. If you ask them, oh, we're good. We are good. But they will be left behind. That's why I mentioned the PMAP conference, wherein we were informed of what to do, of the technology, of the mindset, of the processes, and the framework. It is really sad. You know, when I was president of PMAP in 2016, that was one of my advocacy to calibrate HR practices, which is why I had this program that I had, wherein I asked, I forgot his name, the PMAP, Training Center, AIHRM, the institute, wherein led by Richard Manuel, wherein in all the chapters we offered uh, what do you call this, salary, timekeeping, and most especially that one of calibrating the technology in compensation and benefits. I had. And I also went around the chapters and started farming, planting, and because that was the theme of my presidency, unlocking mindset. It's not even changing mindset. I asked Dean Rose of PsyD at the time if I am using the right term. And she told me, Jesse, that is your own term, and I would like to own it. Unlock your mindsets. Then later on, you can pivot so that you can have value. Unlock mindsets and creating value. Why am I mentioning this? Because I am telling you about how can we move from the personal administration or traditional HR being done by this micro, small, and medium enterprises into what is now being practiced, which is strategic HR. Of course, you may tell me that it depends on the organization. It depends on your resources. But never forget the function. It can be the owner who should be doing that. Say in the family, who is the HR person? Who takes care of the people? Who comes out with the protocols? Similarly, in family businesses. So that is our topic for today. And for those who are already in a little bit advanced and sophisticated organizations, listen. You may get insights and learnings. I invited a fellow member of the Philippine Association of Professional Speakers. She's a friend. When in PIMAP, I see her. And PSTD, she's very active. She's part of the programs committee. So he is a talent development and an organizational development consultant. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Rinah Rivero.
Hi, Sir Jesse. Good afternoon.
Good
And
afternoon, Rina. Thank
good
you for
after.
blessing the 18th episode of HR Hotline. And I like our topic because it nails it to really to those who are in need. Okay, so let me first ask you, how are the preparation in the National Convention of PSTD, which I know you are an active member? Tell us briefly.
All right. So, in terms of the preparation for the Philippine Society for Talent Development National Convention, I think the entire team is pretty much ready for the convention. The lineup of the speakers, we really have high caliber speakers from representing various sectors, various industries, and the theme of the PSTD this year is Digitalent. So I think this is really beneficial for almost all organization, whether big, small, micro organization. There's a lot of learnings that attendees will be able to get from the convention this year. So I'm hoping that we get a lot of sign-ups, attendees in the program, as we want to bring in a different experience, since it's the first time that it's more of like a Zoom vention for all of our participants and speakers as well for this year. So the team PSTD is ready. We're hoping to get more sign-ups so that we get more participants for the convention.
Yes, PMAP had just its conference, and it was wonderful. And there were around 1,042
Oh wow.
attendees.
Yeah,
1,000.
last year's PMAP there's about more than 1,500. I think
Oh,
that was
that
in
was,
Cebu, diba?
yes, yes.
So
Oh, yes, they actually also achieve the goal. With all the with all the what do you call this, events, and some of
mhm,
them are free. Uh,
correct.
there are a lot of competitions in what you call online learning events.
That's right. And I think we have like a collaboration also between PMAP and PSTD, no?
Yes,
Uh,
they're
there's a special
advocacy.
rate for those who attended PMAP and who will be attending PSTD as well.
Yes, yes. Okay, so let us go now straight to what we're supposed to discuss. It's actually looking into the HR practices of
Mhm.
our micro, small, and medium enterprises. So my first question to you, how should they or how could they professionalize their HR practice? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. All right. So the question is about professionalizing, no, the HR process for micro, small, and medium enterprises. But first, let me just break down what an MSME is in the Philippines. So the MSMEs here in the Philippines are considered the backbone of our economy, especially here in the Philippines. And majority of the MSMEs here in the Philippines are also family owned, meaning a certain family has established that particular business and has just grown over the years. And MSMEs are the ones, these are businesses with about 10 or even less than 10, no, na employees, and up until less than about 200 employees. And yun yung mga, those are the businesses that we consider micro, small, and medium enterprises. And they're the ones who have an asset of less than 100 million, hindi kasama yung whatever property that they own. So that's according to DTI what an MSME is. So these are the businesses that we have a lot of here in the Philippines.
Yeah, yes, yes, Serena. When
Correct.
I uh, I heard you mention of 200 uh, employees. There
Yes,
are a lot. There are a lot of organizations wherein they are composed of 100 up to 200.
that's right. That's right. So this
Even
is
factories, even factories. I
uh
know, I know factories in down in the south in Santa Rosa, wherein the average number of workers are 150. So
yeah.
that still falls under medium enterprises.
That's correct. And we are these are not just international companies, but also the local companies that we have. So going back to the question, Sir Jesse, on how they should professionalize the HR processes, I think the first of all, the current process of majority of MSMEs now are still traditional, right? So traditional meaning, when we say traditional, ito yung medyo transactional pa the way they approach human resources. They're more administrative, meaning all paperworks, and just focusing on compensation, uh, yung benefit of employees. If there are requests from employees, they just process it. So majority are reactive depending on the behavior and the demand of the employees in the organization or whatever happens in the organization. So I think the professionalizing it should start from their awareness, right? So they
Yes,
have to be aware
yes,
that,
and I think Rina, it should start from the owner, from
yes.
the leadership. Yes.
Correct. So the leaders, the owners should recognize that they're starting with awareness that their organization needs to advance, needs to cope with the changing demand of the society, of the industry that they're in, more so the demand in their HR system also. So they have to understand what ano yung current system that they have, how they do things at the moment, and how does it impact their people, how does it impact the productivity of the people, which then translates to the overall performance of the business. And then from
Okay.
there, they can assess their current state and then prioritize which ones they can address first.
Okay. We'll go that. We'll go to that later, because what I'm thinking with that, they need a consultant. We go to that later. But my question is, with your statements, that means that it is important. How important for those who are viewing us now? What is the effect if the HR processes are not so updated? What
Mhm.
will be the effect to their business? So tell us how important it is, and what are the if how does it affect the businesses?
Mhm. Right. So, um, changing the strategy in terms of human resources is critical in a business, especially if your business is continuously growing, the market demand is growing, you're at the height of the business, whether at the height or not. It's important that you pay attention to the strategies of HR. It This is important because it impacts one way or another. Number one, it can impact the business financially. It can impact the branding of the business, the name of the organization, and also, of course, your employee relations engagement, which also translates to employee retention. An example is it's important for you to be able to shift to that direction. Number one is, say, for example, for hiring people. Traditionally, especially in MSMEs and those owned by families, normally they hire people that they already know. Right? So, friends, or yung anak ng pamangkin ko, or yung ganito naman, can you hire, or friends that you know of, as some people were putting up the business, they tap on their friends. Can you help me out with the business, this and that, without really assessing if those people are competent enough. Diba?
Yes.
So, and in the long run, as you are running the business, you notice that the people that you have onboarded, that you have tapped to help your organization, they are not competent enough, or they're not at par with your expectations. So, of course, that impacts the performance
Right.
of the business, certain processes as well. And it would be hard for you to let the person go already, because they've been with you for
Tenure.
a long time,
There's already
regular na.
tenure. Yeah.
Correct, na regular mo na. So you cannot really just terminate them, unlike in the US na you can fire people easily, right? So here you really need to be able to manage them. Another example is on total reward. So total rewards, this is the yung monetary and other benefits, other rewards given to the employees. Some organizations, yung kanilang salary structure dates from way back mga 2010, 2005 pa, and it's now 2020. So there's been several tranches of changes in the basic pay of the employees, and some
Yeah.
organization they are not aware na din if their current compensation is at par with the market,
Yeah.
or not, or are they giving too much salary, which in
Yeah.
turn also impacts yung kanilang hiring, because people would think the offer is too low, so in return they're not getting the right talents also in the organization, so which is very important.
Yes. Yes. So a little chismis. Yes, I know a lot. Especially there are small businesses, insurance companies, even us in L&D training agencies, wherein you have around 10, 20, or are just 5 staff.
Mm-hmm.
And then how do you get your people? It's whom you know or the one endorsed. Very
Yeah,
similar to the one endorsed by the mayor, the one endorsed by the
yes, that's
congressman.
true.
And then you keep them. You know, I have Rina, I have some students. You know, I teach in the certification of TIMA.
Ah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, I have some students wherein that these are their problems. How to? I even have one also in ECO. Wherein the problem is now is how to reskill or upgrade the supervisory and leadership capabilities of those who are with them for more than 15, 20 years. Just imagine that. So it's only now that they realize that, and it was really mentioned, sana I should have
Mm-hmm.
gotten or recruited somebody who is more eligible to be a manager. Because in time, ladies and gentlemen, the person of goes grows, tenured, and you become a senior. Then, of course,
That's true.
it will not be nice if you're not going to give him an increase in salary or promote him to a higher position. But the problem is actually competency. And what Rina and I are telling you, it's actually the strategic, how strategic in your thinking that after how many years, the person that you're getting will be the one managing. Similarly with compensation. I mentioned earlier that just like Femery, you know, Femery of PSDD,
Yes.
last year, she went around to organize PSDD chapters. In 2016, when I was president, I went around. But you know, going around, I found out that, yes, talking about compensation, some are left behind. That is what I mentioned. And you know, even now, I just hope after this, I will text him. I am chismis ito. In particular, private schools.
Ah,
The,
yes.
the problem is the teachers in the government are already receiving higher pay. The private schools were left behind. So even a person was even asking me, how should they do it? Then I gave him uh, a few pointers. I have to call him again because I was offering my consultancy to them, and just I got lost. I wasn't able to monitor them. But they are in
Mhm.
need. They are
Yeah,
in need
there's
of,
really a lot.
yeah, and it really affects your business
Mhm.
because it
One thing,
is
Sir
no,
Jesse, that I failed to mention pala is documentation also. Documentation in terms of contracts and agreements, yung mga ganon. Yung before, parang they just hire people, and they don't even have employment contracts or those documentation. So it's for the protection
right.
of the
And,
company and then the employees, right?
Rina, that is even more expensive because with that, they will get an attorney, retain
Correct.
a lawyer, retain a lawyer to look into what they have done before. And sometimes it's not actually a lawyer's job, it is an HR job to look into the
That's true.
documentation. Yeah,
The
I know about
contracts,
that.
contracts of employees, and even their own contracts, no, contracts in doing business with other organization, kasi
Yeah,
from before, 'di ba,
Christina,
parang gentleman's agreement na, oh sige, I'll supply this to you, I'll supply you, you give me
you are
this.
very
But
right,
now,
Rina. Yeah,
tapos wala silang contracts at all. It's more of just, verbal, na usapan agreement lang before. If it probably worked, siguro 10, 15, 20 years ago, ngayon, it's not gonna work anymore.
and then
They need to keep up.
sometimes it has a problem because of those contracts with what you call outsourcing,
Yeah,
your people. We call that
yeah,
it is a wrong. It's a wrong. It's a misnomer. Wherein we call them contractuals. Of course, we give
yeah,
them contracts. It's
yes.
actually outsourcing them. Either you get a legitimate contractor or
Mm-hmm.
you do it a direct, then the documentation is actually a problem.
Yeah,
It's nice to talk with somebody like you, but time runs so fast. When we go back, we discuss how they are going to transition.
yeah.
Okay, so we
All
mentioned
right.
acquisition. Okay, so with that, thank you with this wonderful conversation. Let's have the break first, the first break, the rec. Before I read to you the TNC shows, let me welcome beautiful ladies of Pops who are watching us now, Rina. We have Charisse. Charisse, I told you you will be a guest here. Charisse Sampang with her power is presence. Then we have Carmine. Oh, I love Carmine's Like. You will also be a guest here, Carmine and Athena. Athena, I heard you. I stalked you giving a training, and you are wonderful. But I know she's so busy with her food business. Athena, you're also invited to be a guest here. So they are all here listening. Athena, Carmine, and of course, James Wong. Thank you for watching. And of course, I know you're sharing this with the Catholic Media Network. Did I say it right? Yes. And I'm still expecting the Marian images from you. So, Direct, can we have the TNC shows that I'm supposed to present? Okay. Please watch all the live stream shows of the new channel. The Big Picture inspires stories of notable personalities. The family business is everyone business on Saturdays. Life, business, and success stories on the fourth project. Beauty beyond what your eyes can see. Usapang Beauty on Saturdays. Time to hear positive stories from those who recovered. And we have that on Saturdays at COVID Stories. Life purpose and turnaround stories you turn on Mondays. And that is Carmine. And then build and own a property. Dante Salamat's The Home Buyer. Laugh and learn from puppetry arts around the world. Yes, my dear friend Wan Lu in the puppet stories. Then, TNC Marketplace, online night bazaar. Magbenta, bumili at tumulong. Dahil it is an online bazaar. Know your rights and the basic law with fun. You law on Thursdays. Learn about money and more on Tuesdays. Then we have Dennis Calamba, two leaders in one platform, the TNC, the talk, and then the after shift, chill and booze. Then strategize and win in life through win within. Then ask your kids to dream, achieve, nurture, and inspire to watch Danny Art Show. Learn together across borders on foreign affairs and what's Healthline because health is wealth. Celebrate women at work on Saturdays morning and on Mondays afternoon, the awesome day. We also have Cyber NXT, then Tech U on Fridays, and TNC original shows one day and TNC Hall. So this is an alternative, ladies and gentlemen, and you have to be with us. And of course, on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, be with me as your lunch date. Okay, let's go back to Rina. Rina. So that is really, those that you mentioned are really important and it really affects the performance of businesses. So we still have time. Can we now discuss the how they are going to transition, how they're going to upgrade what they're doing. So let us before we do that, let us have a rundown of the key HR functions that they should do. Talent acquisition is one. You mentioned it. What else? You are muted.
Oh,
Yes, we can
there.
hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, like I mentioned, talent
Talent
acquisition
acquisition. That
is
is
number one.
recruitment.
Correct.
Another.
Another one is talent development, yung training and
Yes,
development,
training.
right?
Training.
So that starts from onboarding up until skilling of the process that they need to do, up until, leadership, personal leadership development
And then
of the
we will
person.
tell them that it's not actually them doing the lecturing or
Yeah,
the modules, but even if they can be mentoring or just giving
correct.
instructions or
Or
now the third
special
one is actually
projects, mga ganon.
Okay. The third one is the compensation. You discuss it. So recruitment or acquisition, learning and development and training, and then we have comben and that is what else? It's four key. What are the key? That if they
Uh,
don't do it, they're missing HR.
Employee engagement as well.
Yes, employee. So I think we can just zero into to that. But of course, there are around. I
There's a
know for
lot.
still, yeah, there are a lot. There are seven, and there is that even one another framework. It's under the 11, and it's
Mm-hmm.
strategic. Strategic HR actually means that the talent development process is actually interrelated. You integrate that.
Yeah,
Here comes the succession planning, your performance management, and
correct.
eh, and then of course uh, the whole frame that was discussed. You even have that OD. We have to,
Yes.
if you still have time, we have to discuss that, and then that one of L&D. Well, anyway, so let's start with personnel or HR. So you told us the situation. How can they improve, calibrate, or upgrade their recruitment? Doon muna tayo, Rin. As a consultant, I know you're a consultant. Can you tell us? Say if I am a what do you call this? A family business. What will you tell us if you know that my recruitment processes are not really good?
In terms of the recruitment process, Sir Jesse, and even the current state of the talents that they have in the organization, I think number one, they have to identify the key positions, the key functions that they need in the organization. Once they've identified those key functions that they need in the organization, then they have to identify also what are the competencies that they need for each of the people uh, to be in that role or to be in that position. If, for example, you need somebody in finance, or you need an HRBP, for example, in your organization. So you've identified that you need an HRBP. Now then identify what are the competencies that you need, that an
Right.
HRBP should have. Ano ba yung skills? Ano ba yung mga
Okay.
kakayanan ng isang
Okay.
HRBP? Ano yung knowledge or kaalaman na dapat
Good.
meron siya to
Good.
function in
Good.
your organization?
Let me share, Rina. So that means that if you are still in the task list, wherein you just have the duties and function, and what
Correct.
is more scary, you don't even have it documented. You're around 30 already. There is no
Mm-hmm.
documentation of your duties and functions. What we can do is actually upgrade it into what we call competency based, what you mentioned,
Yes. Correct.
identifying the key responsible areas and your KPIs. So this
Mm-hmm.
ito po yung mga bago po ngayon. So it is not anymore the list, but should come up with a competency-based uh, listing of functions, identifying the KRAs, the KPIs, and the competencies needed. But let us remind them, Rina, they first must have a structure.
Yes. Yes,
As
of course. The structure is very important. Actually, even before the structure, what I would say should really be the basic is that for the organization to formulate their vision, their mission, and their values, because
you
that
are
will be the
you
anchor of
nailed it.
everything.
You
So,
nailed
vision.
it.
So, where do they want to go? Identify in the next 3, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, where do you see your company going, growing as well, 'di ba? And then mission also.
Rina, I know a lot of organizations, they have it, but the HR doesn't really put it into their system because they were not engaged or involved when it was formulated. So that is the one ongoing. But what am I afraid of listening to you? Now we have a lot of plantitos, a lot of online selling, a lot of the new businesses.
Uh-huh.
You nailed it, Rina. What is their vision? What is their mission? Is this just temporary na wala ka lang magawa? Or do
Why are
you
you
have
doing it, 'di ba? Why are you doing it in the first place?
right,
Sir
right.
Jesse?
Yes, right. Yes, yes, Rina. There is a what do you call it, a connectivity problem. Direct, can you help Rina come back? Uh, yes, that is really important, especially with acquisition. Not even more, it still falls under acquisition because you really have to plan, come up with your manpower plan or your workforce plan if it is already an ongoing business. And right, for those who are in HR, for those in the leadership, think about the vision. Even if you're already organized, this is the right time that you must have your strategic planning. Review your vision, review your mission. Actually, as a consultant, it should be the other way around. Mission first. What is your mission? Why are you doing this? The purpose, your ikigai. Then your vision, your goals, and the values that goes with it. But all of that should be competency based. Right. So you have to start with that, even if you are already big. I know even Ayala, even SM does that. So all of us in organization, HR must initiate, must take the lead because of the pandemic. Go back to your mission. What was the effect, the impact of the pandemic to the organization? And then review your mission, review your vision, and then your goals. And then after that, you cascade it into the to-dos of every department. And I'm very sure for HR, it's the HR strategic plan. And that is the manpower plan. And I know, reality check, almost all of us are trying to reduce, reduce the manpower complement. But don't jump into that reducing the the workforce before you go back to the reviewing back to the vision. I just hope Rina is back and there is a little
I'm here.
yeah. Okay. So let's go to the next one, Rina, which is actually you mentioned about L&D training. Training. Of course, they will always tell us we don't have budget and we are only around 50. So what are your suggestions? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So I think training does not always have to be outsourced naman. I'm pretty sure there are people in the organization who are also competent enough to be able to facilitate. And hindi lang siya HR, but other supervisors, managers also should be co-accountable in the training and development or learning and development of their people. Don't have to solely rely to HR or to the training department. So what I'm
Yes,
saying is that the learning of an employee actually starts from their onboarding. The first time
right.
that they join the organization, what normally happens is, you have your basic orientation or HR orientation, where and that is, I would say, where the vision, the mission, and the values should be introduced to the employees,
Yes,
and
yes,
make sure that reiterate that it's something that they should live by as employees of the company. So the
yes,
training does
yes,
not necessarily have to be expensive.
yes,
They
yes,
don't have to hire trainers. They can do training from within. And it's training is not just yung classroom training, like what we mentioned, Sir
yes,
Jesse. It can be in a form of coaching, it can be a form of feedback giving, it can be in a form of temporary assignment, or
yes,
on the job training experience na
yes,
mismo
yes,
of the
yes.
person.
Yes, yes, you got it. You nailed it. Usually, what the micro, small, and medium enterprises do is on the job training. They recruit
Yeah.
people, then they see, then sinaba kagad, sinulong kagad. So, a lot of these guys, a lot of these workers are really lost because
Overwhelmed.
they started working. They don't even know what is the direction of the organization, what is the culture of the organization. So training, yeah, Rina is right. Training starts with onboarding. You're going to explain to them why they were recruited, why they are joining the company, and where we are going, and the value of their contribution to the work, to the output.
Mhm.
I can see, Rina, that Marvin Salazar is watching us. Marvin has a an outfit, a what do you call this? An IT group. I just hope
Mhm.
Marvin gets me as a consultant so that we can finish my web. You know, I Marvin, you listen to Rina and I. Even if you have Ben,
Skill.
even even with direct J who's listening to us, uh, even with TNC, there should be now somebody you should take her about HR. And
Correct.
L&D can just be, yung sinasabi pong curate, you can just ask them to do self-led
Mhm.
training. You can just tell them you watch uh, uh, YouTube, or you
Video
give
or
them,
read.
you read, give them links, and that is already training. But make it a little bit. There is a process. You don't really make it as if you are playing. You come up with a, just even a guideline, or just a program. Say I am recruiting Marvin Salazar in my outfit, in my organization. So what is the first thing that I have to do? Orientation. And what is the next thing that I will do? I will lend him my book for ask him to read. And then later on, I will ask him to watch a YouTube program. You know, Rina, I'm doing that here in my house with Jojo, my helper. She's now a very good cook. You know why? I bought him a cookbook. And then
That's that's part of training.
I watched him to watch YouTube.
Uh-uh.
YouTube. And then, while we're eating, because I asked them to eat with me, we assess and what are really missing in the cook. And that is training. And that is
Yeah.
training.
Important yung skills check, knowledge check, and if there's the changes have been applied in training also yung measures of your success. Kung
Even
nag-improve ba ang luto, sumarap
I
ba
was
lalo?
even joking with that is already successful. So Jojo, when you get married or you leave me here, you can now apply as a cook because you cook
Mm.
well. That is what you told me. The check, the evaluation, the assessment.
Yes,
Very true,
correct.
Patrick ka talaga. Okay, let's go to the fourth one, compensation. Okay. So how can they upgrade and how can they be at least sophisticated in their processes as far as Comben? Let's start with timekeeping kasi Comben is not only the
Yes.
computation of salary. Okay, tell us, Rina.
Right. So, timekeeping, I know in the past, 'di ba, parang naka-daily time record, yung naka-bandy clock pa in terms of timekeeping. At the moment, I think they also need to be able to cope with that in terms of technology. That there are different timekeeping systems now that they can incorporate. Either it's online or on site that people can gain access with to log in, and something that would also be easier for the Compenben team to be able to pull up the logs of the employees for them for easy computation of the login hours. I think that's where it starts, no, yung sa timekeeping.
Rina, there are a lot of timekeeping apps and
Yes,
solutions now. You
maraming
know,
updated.
they should invest. budget or money, the cost should not be the basis for the decision.
Yeah.
There are timekeeping solutions wherein it is on subscription. And I know for one, it only costs around uh, 25 pesos per employee.
Yeah.
So if you're only 30 and then you do what do you call that, Rina? The economic cost benefit
Yeah.
analysis.
Cost benefit.
Yeah, when you do cost benefit, having one or two to do the payroll is more expensive than subscribing to a timekeeping solutions that is already linked to your compensation. Am I right, Rina?
That's true. And some organization also outsource their timekeeping and the computation of the salary, so that their HR in the organization can solely focus on employee engagement and other aspects of HR that's more important than computing for the salary
Yeah,
and
yeah,
timekeeping.
yeah, yeah. I know you have been in the HR practice and profession, Rina. How many days yung nagko-compute for 100 employees? 3 days,
Especially
no?
pag payroll, yes. Pag payroll time, mga gano'n. It takes a while. Kapag
Just
lalo kung
imagine for
mano-mano,
100
Excel lang
employees.
ang gamit. But now, you can pull up the data in 10 minutes if you have an HRIS.
Yeah, yes, yes. So let's briefly, so then we go to compensation. You were telling us earlier about being outdated with the law, but that's bad because when
That's
the
true.
when
And
when
some
when
companies
dollar
are not even
moves around
aware.
and you're not paying on the minimum wage. So tell us,
Uh,
how they will transition to upgrade their practices.
Mm. So like what I mentioned earlier also is the first step really is acknowledgement, awareness that they need to change. There's something in their system that needs to change. In terms of the salary and benefits of the employees, they need to be able to at least pay the minimum basic salary of employees, and also take a look, and they have to take note that employees now don't just look at the basic pay. Employees also look at the other benefits that the company can offer them. So
Right.
the benefits must also be competitive enough.
Yes.
Like yung HMOs, how many leaves do they offer? Some
Yes.
companies kasi parang meron pa rin na five. They just follow what's in the
In the law,
with the law na five.
5 days
Uh,
incentive leave.
Yes, yes. So they just follow that. And most companies now nasa mga 20 plus na leaves, 'di ba? So that's one kumbaga deal breaker then yung benefits, not just the basic pay
And
itself.
then we called it already, Rina, rewards. It's not
Yes,
anymore
total
income,
rewards.
total rewards.
Yeah.
Then, in mentioning that, when we say total rewards, going back even to the absolute money salary that they have to
Mhm.
receive, they have to look into, say, bonuses. If there
Yes.
is merit on performance, for you to be an employer of choice, you're 50, 80, 150, and you're still in the medium enterprises. For you to keep your people, your technical people, your engineers, then you must have what you call merit, or what you call recognition of their performance.
Yeah,
Diba,
and
Rina?
I think the performance, the bonus should be performance based to be fair to the company as well,
Yes, yes. It
right?
is
So
not
the
it is not tenure, or it's not that you are cute or
or
handsome or
present ka lang
beautiful.
palagi, may bonus ka na.
No, attendance is not actually of course, it is a competency because you wake up early in the morning, but you don't have that now because
Correct.
all you are working from home. So here is merit is what you contributed. It is against your objectives. So
Mhm.
this brings us back to the first in the talent acquisition, when you come up with your vision, mission, and goals, because the goals will be the basis for your uh, performance evaluation, and,
Performance. Correct.
and your performance evaluation is the basis for your merit
Yes.
bonuses. We don't
Yeah.
even call it now, for those who are listening to us, increases, because the bonuses should not be embedded in your salary. Because the traditional way, they don't want to uh, include that, Rina, as part of the rewards, because they know it will be embedded in it, and then they will tell us,
Well,
"Oy,
we'll
tumataas
expect
na,
that na
yeah, yeah.
kasi.
The salary is increasing and we cannot even afford it," because they have the wrong mindset. Which is why I mentioned unlock your mindset.
Correct.
Bonuses are not embedded in your what do you call it, Rina? Salary basic.
Yes.
The basic salary. I'm
Mm.
actually an
It's not
afternoon.
mandatory by the law that companies give bonuses and merit increase. Kagandahang loob na siya ng company. And
Yeah.
again, depending on the performance.
Yes. Pero last that I was listening to you, but people now, especially with the pandemic, they would like to to appreciate the other rewards that you give.
Yeah.
Free face mask, free face shields, or even
Ah,
the
yes.
and the health protocols is part of rewards.
The swab tests, the
The swab test.
tests.
No,
Yeah.
even Rina, that one of you're going into a workplace where it is safe. That is actually a reward. I can
Yes.
I can I can hear that to the one time I went at the corner at the entrance of our village, and I was listening to some workers, and somebody was actually so proud and boasting that
Mhm.
he is working in a safe place, and that is Jollibee. O, chinismis ko yung
And
Jollibee.
that's free employer branding.
Yes,
You
and no,
have
no,
your
no.
ambassadors.
For anybody from Jollibee, I am nagchichismis ako sa'yo. Your employees are so proud kasi I heard him boasting that, I am work because nearby is the Jollibee, something there. Very, it's a commissary, I don't know. But, the
Mhm.
workers were there, and I was buying some fruits, and he was really boasting that he's so assured that is working in a workplace that is safe. That is reward. But that is a benefit. Okay,
Yeah.
well, let's go to the last before we go to the. Oh, Rina, I'm enjoying our conversation.
Same
Uh,
here, Sir Jesse.
the last one is engagement. O tell us everything that you can share with us from the small, yung mga 10 lang to the 150, kasi that is what we are discussing. Ang dami, ang daming nasa 150, na organizations. Okay.
Yeah. Employee engagement does not necessarily or equal, kumbaga, does not really equate to yung mga parties and other celebrations lang in the organization. Employee engagement means that, the employees themselves are involved, are empowered to take part in decisions and activities in the organization, that they are informed in certain decisions, certain level of information, they are informed to be part of the business. Because again, gone are the days na the company just decides on something, yung mga silo information. Now, information needs to be readily available to employees. So, and I think that's where employee engagement starts. Yung communication of things that are happening in the
Wow.
organization, employees must be informed. You cannot, keep certain information from the employees. Otherwise, they will just, gossip on things na mas mapapasama pa. So, I think that's where
You
it starts, in
nailed it.
communication.
You nailed it, Rina. Wow. I will get you as my consultant. Wow. Yes, engagement is not really a giving them gift. Engagement is actually information. And that is very critical now that we are
Correct.
working from home. Everybody is actually lost on how, and then of course the problem, Rina, if they're getting fake news. If they're getting fake news
Yes.
that the organization is closing, that you're actually
Letting
bringing.
go.
Yes, yes. So, yes, Rina, you nailed it. Uh, Engagement is actually communication. It's actually you how you take care of people by informing them.
Yeah.
Very much, of course, but of course, there should be what we call the synchronous, and then these are technical terms, and there are synchronous ways of doing it now. Wherein,
Mm-hmm.
aside from meeting them in Zoom or in WebEx or in Google, you also meet
Yeah.
them individually. What do you call
Yeah.
that, Rina? The wake up in the morning? There is a term for that now. Yung
Toolbox
early morning.
meeting.
What?
Toolbox meeting.
Yes, yes. No,
Toolbox.
the simple one wherein you call them in the morning and you call them
Team
in the evening.
huddle.
Yes, the team huddle or the just the check. There's a
Yeah.
term.
Sa manufacturing or construction, they call it toolbox meeting.
Yes, yes, the toolbox meeting just to let them be informed. Just to let them
Yes.
be. I also see this sa mga security guard or in
Ah,
malls.
yes. Oo. 7 AM, nakapila sila, 'di ba? They have like their morning routine.
Yes.
That's
Sa
part of an employee engagement na, 'di ba?
Rina, can you imagine on some offices when they go in and out of the organization and the manager doesn't even call them for a huddle?
Correct.
How sad. How
Hmm.
sad.
You don't feel involved. There's no warmth in the organization, and that leads to employee dissatisfaction and eventually attrition.
And you have been there for 18 years?
Wow. Good job to
Oh, of
them.
course. You don't know. We are already over time. So let us
Yeah.
just, in passing, you just converse. So there is also a need for performance management. Of course, they have to evaluate performance. Just a sentence or two. How can they do it? How can they do it?
First, in terms of performance evaluation, again, they have to anchor it to their vision, mission. Where do they want to go? Their strategies. What is it that they want to achieve overall as an organization, and how can the employees support that goal? What are the things that they can do to be able to achieve whatever the organization wants to achieve? It should be
Okay.
simple, the smart way of putting together the goals for the employees as well.
Very good, Rina. So not the cut and paste that you copied, not the cut and paste that you copied in
Google.
the web. Yes, yes. Then another one, succession planning. Just a sentence or two.
Yeah, succession planning is something that's a problem faced by the certain industries now in the Philippines. Kasi certain companies have been put up for the past 25, 20 years. So ngayon, majority of the critical positions in the organizations are now on the verge of retirement, and they don't have ready successors. So I think this is something that companies need to identify the critical positions in your organization at the moment, and you know check your talent pool if you have a ready pool of people to take on that role, or otherwise you can buy talent or hire from outside. You build your talent from within, or you borrow, you have consultants to do it,
Okay.
or you have
I still
outsource.
go of developing your talents because they
Yes.
know the culture. And this is the last. After the break, I will just ask you to do your parting message because we're over time. So I'll ask it now. How about OD? How just a sentence or two on how they can upgrade their OD. What about culture? How can the small and medium enterprises, do something on the culture building?
Yeah, I think culture really comes from the way the management, the way the owners have, put up the business, the way they have done things in the past, and how they want to improve it moving forward. Like what I mentioned, similarly doon sa engagement, the employee engagement is very important in building the culture of the organization, and that's where communication comes in. So make sure that everything is well communicated to the employees, because that's also a part of building the culture in the organization.
It's actually a leadership concern. If you have a vision that you want to be in business for the longest time, make sure that you're also building a culture that will sustain your organization.
That's
Okay,
true.
wonderful, Rina. I really hope that you can come back in our next season just to talk about HR. This time we'll talk about a little bit higher for those a little bit bigger organizations. So
Yeah.
let's have the second break, and after that, I will ask you to give your parting message because we're already over time. Okay, let's have the
All right.
second break, please. You know, I am conscious about time and we are already over time. So we will skip the job fair for this final episode of the season three. So let's have Rena back. Wonderful, Rena. Thank you very much. It was a what do you call, engaging conversation that we actually forget the time. You know, there's a portion where I
when,
have to, yeah, yeah, I have to
when
mention
you're
all
having fun.
the vacancies. But we'll skip it now because I would like to listen to your parting message.
Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, well, thank you so much for having me here, Sir Jesse. It's been a pleasure guesting on your show. I'm having so much fun talking about our topic for today. I think just a message also for the HR in our MSMEs now is that you really have to think ahead. Okay, so don't just think of what's happening now, what's happening next year, but think ahead on what's going to happen in the next 3 5 years, 10 years in the organization, even if you don't see yourself as an HR being in that organization. So not just for the HR, but more so for the owners of MSMEs as well. So think ahead so that you'll be able to draw up your strategies on the on what you want to be in the next couple of years. So you have to identify your point B, C, or D, and work back on where you are now. Strategize on how you can get to those points, starting with capability building of HR and your capability building also as an owner of that particular business. Your knowledge on HR matters is very important. And also for family businesses, there is this saying that the first generation actually starts the business, the second generation maintains it, but the third generation squanders it or it goes away. So this is a message for family businesses, especially for those who are in the second generation already, that establish what you can to be able to sustain what your parents, grandparents have established in the past. so that in the future, if your descendants will not be able to sustain the business, there's a solid foundation of processes or structure in terms of HR in your organization. So again, to all business owners and HR in the business, think ahead and strategize on how you can transition from being traditional to strategic. Thank you so much, Sir Jesse.
Thank you too, Rina. You nailed it. That is really true. Capability building for the owners on HR function. It is part of the scorecard. People, operations, marketing, and finance. And they are actually on the same level. And you should start with people because these are the resource that you use. Then your HR person, the one who is going to deliver the HR function, capability building. But I am keen on changing the mindset, the pivoting, the transitioning from what you are doing. Do not rest that what you're doing is already okay. Pwede na. No. Do not be left behind. HR is dynamic and it is still growing on how we take care of our people. It is your responsibility. It is your accountability. If you want your business to grow, then make sure you are the organization of choice, the company of choice, to make it the best organization of choice, wherein people will line up to join you. Make sure that your HR processes are professional, updated, and that you are authentic and sincerely you take care of them from acquisition down to their retirement. So this is not only for small businesses, but for all. The irony is the bigger organizations are really looking into it, but the smaller organizations are sometimes missing it. It should be, it's a paradox. It should be the other way around. The smaller you are, the more that you should look into your human resource because you work closely together. So this is a wake up call for those HR are watching and viewing us now. Try to look into your processes, make it updated, and make it professional. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, just marvelous